What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports Life and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's number one couch detective, and I'm here for the news. And here on Sunday, I was like Sunday night going into Monday morning, I made a video talking about this conflict between Israel, Iran, and the United States. And in that video, at about the 7-minute mark, the last video I made a statement. I was looking at this thing. While I was making the video, I realized, kind of came over me that the United States don't want no part of this war. And in that video, I kept putting up the debt clock, the national debt clock, $37 trillion in debt. The United States can't afford a war, don't want a war, and has war fatigue. And the thought of the United States engaging in this war splits Donald Trump base. Donald Trump was trying to do Israel solid. He was trying to do a favor to Israel. But at this point, the world has realized, not just the United States, not just Donald Trump's base, but the world overall has realized that you can't trust Israel at this point. Israel is warmongers. They're committing genocide in Gaza right now. I think they've killed over like 20,000 children. I seen a video of them picking up parts of a small baby. And this has happened over and over. Old people, women, blowing them to smithereens. No mercy being shown. And the excuse is that they're using them as human shields. What makes that so ridiculous is that just because I grab a woman, maybe if I say, let's just say theoretically, I grab a woman and she's pregnant and I'm a robber or a killer, whatever it is, and the police show up, you don't shoot the pregnant woman and me. You try to find a way out of that at all costs. That pregnant woman is innocent, had nothing to do with that. That child is innocent, had nothing to do with that. And that's something that Israel don't give a damn about. And they're losing support internationally. They're losing support here in the United States. They've lost a lot of support within the government, but the government is, so many politicians are in bed with Israel because of the lobbyists and the money and the finance. But overall, they have to be sick of Israel at this point. And Donald Trump made it plainly clear how sick of Israel he is. Let's take a look at this clip.
Yeah, they violated, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either.
This right here, what he just said, is unprecedented. A United States president critical of Israel publicly. Now, privately, they've all been critical of Israel. It's a lot of stuff that they do that they don't like. But this publicly is a first for Donald Trump. And I said Donald Trump should be impeached in my last video. But the reason why I said that is because supporting Israel, you can't trust him. That's something that he's come to realize. He wanted a ceasefire. He told them, hey, we'll bomb these sites. Now, in the last video, I said somebody tipped off Iran. Obviously, it was the United States that tipped off Iran because the bunkers was empty. Cool. We dropped the bomb. It was more symbolic. It was more political theater. But we really don't want no war. The United States is militarily stretched thin across the world already. They cannot afford a war with Iran. If they put boots on the ground, they would not win a war against Iran. That's out. Who wants to do that? All you have to do to beat the United States is lose for a long time. That's something that you very rarely hear. How you beat the United States in a war is just lose for a long time, because then we lose our appetite for war, the financial burden, all of the things that go with that. You realize the United States just don't want to do it no more. And can you blame anybody? And in the first, especially when a war is based on a lie, like this war is right here. But let's hear this again. Donald Trump, unprecedented, basically slapped Israel across the face and told them enough is enough. Unprecedented. I told you in the last video, I've been critical of Donald Trump, but I've also given Donald Trump credit where credit is due. The United States don't want this war. The public don't want this war. Even his base don't want this war.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that.
And with that statement, I wonder what kind of consequences and repercussions Israel will try to lay upon Donald Trump here coming in the future. Because don't forget, there's a lot of Zionists who are in control of the media. That's a fact. So it will be interesting to see going forward politically and publicly what kind of shame they're going to bring to him and what the punishment will be from them towards Donald Trump. Because when you have control of the media, you can really lay the hammer down and make him look as bad as possible. There's no doubt about that. But am I happy to hear what Donald Trump said? Hell yeah. Somebody has to reel Israel in. There's no doubt about that. You have Israel, then you have Jews. All Jews don't agree with what Israel's doing. I want to make that perfectly clear. All Jews don't agree with what Israel's doing. They're committing genocide. They're killing people every day. I think today I just seen they kill like 50 people today. Like I'm talking about not 50 people from Hamas or Hezbollah. They killed 50 regular people, men, women, children, elderly. They don't care.
Out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that?
Do you know how mad you have to be? Because the United States presidents, you very rarely hear them use profanity. He was so upset with Israel because Israel said, okay, we got a ceasefire. Cool, we agree. Let's go bomb as much as we can until the ceasefire is Donald Trump. Like, hey, man, I'm trying to look like a hero here. My base is split. I'm losing my people. Fucking with this war that we really don't want. The United States is not in predicament to fight no wars. None at all. So Donald Trump, I give him credit for this. But where you don't get the credit is because you capitulated and actually dropped them bombs anyway. And you shouldn't have done that. Because Iran was not building a bomb. Yeah, they was enriching uranium. They said, well, why would you enrich it to 60%? Because you're using it as a negotiation tactic. Do they want a bomb? I don't think so. But now you see why you would need it. Because if not, people just start dropping. This is why North Korea got the bombs. This is why Pakistan got them. This is why India got them. This is why country over the last 50 years, the ones that have gotten them, you see why they want them. Because if not, the West to turn on you, and it's mostly Israel. And it's ridiculous. Let's take a look at this last clip. This video is not going to be long today. Let's take a look at this. But I made this video, I think Sunday going into Monday.
Yes.
And at the 7-minute mark, I said in the video, let's take a look. Let's see if we get where I'm at.
Does J.D. Vance?
Yeah, here we go.
eyes in the back when he says that shit. I don't think deep down inside a lot of these people don't want this war.
See?
In this cabinet. But Israel has put so much pressure on the United States with lobbyists, and they have so much power and influence over media, money, politicians. They fund all these campaigns, that these people are in a vice. Look at these people back here. They're not 100% on board. Look at Marco Rubio. and Pete and JD Vance. This is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I made that video Sunday going into Monday the day before they were talking about the ceasefire. But let's take a look at this last clip. Trump called with Netanyahu. They say he lit Netanyahu's ass because what it's looking like. See, Trump he's a guy that's full of pride. Pride ain't always good, but eventually you have to stand up to Israel. We can't just follow behind Israel just because the media, because they own a lot of these companies like Fox and CNN and MSNBC. All these companies are owned by these people. They play good cop, bad cop. But when it comes to these type of war, all of a sudden they all on the same page together. That's diabolical. And it lets you know something's rotten in Denmark. Let's take a look at this clip. It says Trump called with Netanyahu after Iran strikes. Israel, after the ceasefire was announced, dropped Trump. You heard him say it. That's why I rewinded it 3 times. Israel dropped so many bombs to where Iran had to retaliate. Iran actually want a peace deal. They got so many sanctions on them that they want to make some money other than just export oil. But they can't because they're in a vice, because Israel want them in a vice. And the lobbyists, they're using American lobbyists to keep these people in the same predicament. Hopefully, we're able to make a deal with these people on their nuclear program. We had one with Obama. Trump tore it up. I bet you in the back of Trump's mind, he's probably like, that was a terrible decision. Now, looking at it, let's take a look at this clip.
All right, let's go straight to Peter Doocy. Hi, Peter.
And part of just as you were showing the video, the live picture rather, of the class photo being taken, I received a text message from a White House official traveling with the president who is confirming to us now that after Saturday's strikes in Iran, the U.S. strikes on the nuclear facilities in Iran, President Trump told Benjamin Netanyahu not to expect any further American military intervention there. That was on a call today that White House...
Listen to me. But Fox News report this, and this is not something Fox News even really wants to report. They don't want that they don't want that relationship to be splintered like that. But this relationship is splintered. Donald Trump has had enough of Israel. He's had enough. Donald Trump don't like anything dictated to him. Like I said, he has a lot of pride. And everybody, from Republican to Democrat to Independent, all of the people who supported him, the people who were in the middle, and the people who don't support him got on the same page saying, what are you doing? Israel is just running you. What are you, a fucking puppet? We thought that you said you was anti-war. Now we realize that Donald Trump pride has kicked all the way in. He called Netanyahu and told him directly, hey man, we will not intervene in this war at all anymore. You send another strike and you hit Iran, it's over for you. Because let me say this, without the help of the United States, Israel would have been wiped off the map. And I'm not talking about with nukes. I'm talking about with conventional ballistic missiles, rockets, drones. I said this in the last video, they had almost 4 different entities outside of Israel. I mean, including Israel, shooting down the missiles. And they still was getting through. They had the United States of warships shooting them down. They had the United States THAAD system. They had the United States Patriots. They had Israel had Arrow 3. They had David Sling, the Iron Dome. They had Jordan shooting down missiles. They had all type of help that we probably don't even know about. That ain't count Saudi Arabia or Qatar or other countries that was joining in helping. And the missiles was still getting through. Israel took a beating. Israel took such a beating that Israel blacked out anybody reporting on missile strikes landing in Israel. That's how bad it was. I don't know if they'll ever recover from this shit.
Officials are diplomatic not to expect any further American military intervention there. That was on a call today that White House officials are diplomatically describing to us as exceptionally firm and direct, that followed President Trump's now viral 4-letter word on the South Lawn.
there was going to be a retaliation this morning by Israel, and he said you're going to call back the planes. It's enough. It's enough. And they did, which I respect very greatly. So nobody was killed. That was the sort of. And a lot of planes going in the wrong direction. You know that, right?
A lot of planes going in the wrong direction.
A lot of pomp and circumstance today. The president was greeted by the king and the queen ahead of what's being billed right now as a social dinner with the other NATO leaders who, according to a private text message from the NATO Secretary General that President Trump screenshotted and posted online, they have all signed on to double their defense spending.
What do you think is Trump's motivation to publish a press
I don't know, we have absolutely no trouble or problems there because there's nothing in it which devastates you.
as a suspicion leading to reduce legacy change with your allies? Isn't it?
No, absolutely no problem. No, there's nothing in it which devastates you.
President Trump is also now teasing that tomorrow he might seek changes to Article 5. That is the NATO rule that requires all NATO members to jump to the defense of any member that gets attacked. And that could be really tough news for NATO countries that have not been paying the minimum amount of their GDP over the last couple of years. Martha.
Extraordinary. Peter, thank you very much. Peter Ducey, traveling with the president.
But Donald Trump has has basically let Israel know that it's up, it's over. We gave you everything we had. I put my legacy on the line. This is because you got to realize this is Trump last term. You know, people say he might he trying to, you know, like Obama said, a third term. Do I believe that? No. Is anything possible? Yes, but I had to see that to believe it. I'm not going to put that out there. Like, oh yeah, he's running for a third term and believing all that. No, but his legacy was on the line with this shit. There was immense amount of pressure on Donald Trump to get this war ended. Do not extend this out anymore. Nobody even wanted him to help Israel at all. So it's very, very interesting to see how it all played out. I found it hilarious when I woke up on Tuesday morning and seen Donald Trump talking and using profanity and, you know, taking Israel to task. Everybody was really, really, a lot of people, I ain't say everybody, a lot of people was really, really happy to see that. You don't want to be dog walked by Israel, led into all these different wars. If you don't know, Israel led us into the Iraq war, saying they had weapons of mass. It was them who led us in saying they had weapons of mass destruction. But enough is enough. Good for Donald Trump. Yeah, I wanted him impeached on Monday. Now I'm 50-50 on impeachment. Yeah. I can say, you know, I can give credit where credit is due, but now it's up and it's over. Not over. I mean, obviously this ceasefire is tentative and, you know, it's still iffy, but so far so good. Hopefully they keep up the peace talks. We pray to God that they keep up the peace talks. We don't want World War III, and we don't need United States in any kind of war, because why? We can't afford it. Flat out, we can't afford any kind of war whatsoever. Why? Let me take you to this. Before we leave, national debt clock. As you can see, it never stops, you guys. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Clock is still running. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is Sports Life and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel. YouTube's #1 couch detective. I'm here for the news. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. I just took your ass on Donald Trump spanking Israel on the ass ride. Peace.